Ridiculous fondling cardboard.
What is up? Welcome back to Fondling Cardboard. I'm your host, Mike Lakusta, aka the Golf Card Collector. Today we've got a fun interview with James Peacock, repeat guest of the show. And my initial plan for that conversation with James was to talk about some upcoming releases in golf card sets, but we ended up talking about an interesting concept, and I think you guys might find a lot of value in this one. That is consistent branding from a card manufacturer. So think of the most iconic brands from each sport, baseball, Topps Chrome, basketball, could be Topps Chrome or Panini, depending on the era, for Panini Prism, which is released year over year since 2012. Well, the behemoth in golf card collecting is Upper Deck, and they have been playing around a little bit with their properties. And from the conversation with James, you'll learn not only what are the products coming out soon and what we're excited about, but why Upper Deck could be releasing different properties rather than consistent branding, why they're not choosing a consistent branding that I think the hobby would prefer over the stuff that they have been consistent with their release schedules. Before we get to the conversation, here's your quick 30-second update on the PGA playoffs. Now, it seemed like it was boiling down to a Scottie Scheffler versus Xander Schauffele race, and Scottie Scheffler is just doing Scottie Scheffler things. He shot the best round of the day at 6 under par. He started the round at 10 under par because of just the way the FedEx Cup playoffs work, and he is now entering the second round with a 7-stroke lead. Xander Schauffele shot 1 under par. He's sitting at 9 under. But joining him was Colin Morikawa, also at 9 under after a 5 under par opening round. And we've got Adam Scott, also shooting 5 under par in his opening round, sitting at 8 under par. So 8 under par after round 1, and he's 8 strokes back of the lead. And then tied with him are a couple of guys, Sam Burns and Wyndham Clark, and Hideki Matsuyama and Keegan Bradley. All names that I'm really excited to see near the top of the leaderboard, but I really just think this is Scotty's world. So I don't know if it'll be much of a contest, but still tune in, check it out over the weekend, and maybe Scotty will falter and give us something to sit on the edge of our seat for. But I really think 2024 is the year of the Scotty. All right, here's that conversation with James. Upper Deck portfolio, which is a hodgepodge of Upper Deck products and properties all put into one set. It was supposed to be released pretty soon, but it's been delayed. Do you know what the story is there, James?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the story, but this seems to be a pretty common trend in the golf releases. They tend to have a release date and then they push it back. My gut says maybe like the other two aren't selling as fast as they thought, and I'm not sure. But it was supposed to be out like this week. Like I was excited to start ripping some packs and get going, but I checked my the site I ordered from, and it looks like they pushed it back to September 5th, so it's not too much longer, another like 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, it's kind of happened with the last couple of releases where they had initial date, and then I keep looking for a checklist, nothing, and then they just push it back 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully this is the only pushback. But as of right now, it looks like September 5th is the new date. And to your point, this is the set that I'm actually the most excited about of all three. Ever since I started learning about all three. And like you said, it has some old artifacts cards in there. You know how much we both love artifacts. It's got some exquisite stuff. It's got some sign of the times. So it's a really cool mix of like SP authentic artifacts, some of the Goodwin stuff. Yeah, it seems like it's a great mix. It's got some black diamond stuff in there. It looks like a really fun set. So I can't wait to rip a couple of boxes of that.
Yeah, you referred to Artifacts, which was, of course, the first golf set to be released in 2021 in 7 years, because the prior golf card release had been in 2014. And that 2021 Upper Deck Artifacts set had Black Diamond in it as well. So in some ways, even though it was only called Artifacts, it had a little bit of a hodgepodge because Diamond Relics, for instance, are supposed to be from the Black Diamond set. Now, thank you for kind of sharing some of the cards you're excited about. The one that I'm excited about are, of course, the Diamond Relics. And there's a type that has not just 1, 2, 3, or 4 quad diamonds, but it has different colors of gems, and it's almost like this rainbow. And instead of being a vertical style of card, it's a horizontal card. And,
Nice.
I forget what the insert is called, but I've seen it in hockey cards. I've almost pulled the trigger on some Arizona Coyotes cards that have the like 6 or 7 or 8 diamonds of different colors, or maybe they're rubies and different types of gems. So I'm really excited to have that for golf. And one of the reasons I'm not pulling the trigger on everything I come across on eBay that I love is to try and save up some money for, those chase cards that I want from upcoming sets. So what do you what do you expect other than the types of cards you just referred to? How do you think Upper Deck portfolio is going to be received by collectors? What are your expectations for this set?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the most well-received box we've had of the year for sure. I think within golf and non-golf, people that just love to rip and breakers and all that, I can see this becoming more popular just due to the diversity of the cards within it. So I think we're going to see a lot sell more than the other two. And I have a feeling that this is also going to go on EPAC a lot faster. I'm shocked that we haven't seen any of the other sets on EPAC yet due to like how little they're selling and they keep lowering the price of the physical cards. So hey, if you want to open those packs, like now's a great time to buy those, FYI. But I'm just shocked that I haven't seen those on EPAC yet. I think Portfolio is going to be the exception. Maybe they'll all go together, but I think this is going to be really popular. I think it's going to sell really well. And I think they're just going to try to ride that momentum and throw it up everywhere. And I would love that. So we'll see. But I think definitely out of all the ones of the year, I'm going to open the most of this. Unless I open it and for some reason the quality's bad or I'm just not enjoying it, which I can't imagine. So yeah, I have one case ordered, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Upper Deck didn't do 2024 SP Authentic, which of course is one of the biggest brands in
Yeah,
golf. It's like they made the flagship set and then the Upper Deck SP game used for those who weren't familiar. Those were 2024 golf sets, the first dedicated golf sets since 2021. In between, we get sets like Goodwin Champions, like Metal Universe Champions, which are not a hodgepodge per se. They're a consistent property from Upper Deck or uh, Skybox in terms of the Metal Universe Champions. However, they are multi-sport sets, and so it's a hodgepodge in another respect. What I hope Upper Deck does with a set well, the feedback they get from Goodwin Champions, where they could insert some exquisite cards, or portfolio where they've got a variety of different properties is they use market data after it's been released, which cards are popular, which ones are doing really well, and they take that feedback and create dedicated sets using the properties. Whether it is OPC Platinum, which I've been begging
yeah,
for years. I'd love to have a chromium style of golf set. I think it would be amazing, like the upcoming Prism Golf with Panini and Live. We need something like that for the PGA Tour through Upper Deck. Or if it's artifacts, we need a second release of artifacts. Whatever it happens to be, my expectation is that Upper Deck will take market feedback from this release and use that to create a dedicated golf set for a new property. Although I am excited by the hodgepodge, it makes for a fun rip. You have no clue what you're going to rip pull. Even if you study the checklist, there can still be some surprises as you're opening the cards. So I think that will be a lot of fun. And then the last piece, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's on-card autographs in this set. Is that correct?
yeah, there is. It looks like there's both. But yeah, it does look like the Sign of the Times cards. Those look like on cards. It looks like those big jumbo patch like 101s are on card. So the exquisite ones are always on card, right? So it does look like both. So that's better than none. We'll take it. But yeah, that's a good point. I would have I like now let me ask you this. Would you have preferred a 2021 SP or 2024 SP Authentic over portfolio or a new artifacts over it just for the sake of consistency and for the sake of having this sort of golf brand? Because I am surprised that game used is the one that's been the most consistent since 2002. Like I guess
Mhm.
2001 at SP Authentic, but the fact that they made the decision to go all in there and not all in on SP Authentic is interesting. And I do think that might be a little bit of a misstep.
I agree. Although I think that the portfolio product will be a more enjoyable rip, I think it will be fun to get golf cards that look different from each other, different from what we've seen before. I would have preferred consistency and I would have sacrificed some of that novelty because the biggest issue that Upper Deck has had with golf releases is inconsistency.
Yep.
Inconsistent releases, time between releases, styles of cards. And I do like the idea of innovation, but I think consistency comes first. You need a loyal following. You need looking back to Young Guns, we've had our second release of Young Guns. They missed making a Tiger Woods Young Gun, so I don't know if that will really take off. But the other aspect of Young Guns is it needs to be released every year. If there's not a new crop of Young Guns, then nobody's going to want them if they're released once every 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it happens to be. In this case,
Yeah.
they've released it every 23 years or 24 years. So to answer your question concisely, yes, I would have preferred consistency. However, I think that there could have been a win-win if instead of making SP Game Use the consistent product line, they made SP Authentic the consistent product line and made Portfolio. That would have been my preference. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I will say SB Authentic was a really, really fun rip, and I did think it bring in a lot of other people from other parts of the hobby just due to that consistency and like recognition. And kind of the fact that they do those sort of throwback cards with like Ken Griffey Jr. and other people in that same style. Like I love that. So I would have loved to see an SB Authentic as like a through line over SB Game Used 100%. Portfolio, it does seem just sort of like they didn't have anything new or innovative. And instead of just doing something consistent, they're like, all right, let's just bring in the best because we can't do another artifacts and SB Authentic and a this. But yeah, I would have definitely preferred probably SB Authentic over a game use any day. Just more
It's
fun to rip.
it's almost like they had a whole bunch of random cards ready to insert into Goodwin Champions, and then they thought, "Hey, wait a minute! There's been so many awesome golfers lately, and so many awesome golf uh, uh, cards and players that hey, let's just make a dedicated set and throw all these cards into a box together." Going back to consistency though, what is the most iconic Tiger Woods card? Not, no, sorry, not iconic, because his most iconic is the 2001 rookie, but his most iconic, high-end, valuable card.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2001 SP Authentic of 900.
Exactly. His rookie autograph pack pulled card.
Yep,
That card uh, has a brand attached to it, SP Authentic.
exactly.
And
Yep.
that's one of the reasons why I look back at that card and I tie it to the ultra modern cards. And although SP Authentic might not be the most visually appealing cards compared to SP Game Used or any of the products in portfolio, I want it because I want consistency. I want the on-card autographs from Victor Hovland, Max Homa. I think that one of the biggest ones somebody mentioned in our group chat this morning would be Rose Zhang, who's a very popular and hyped up LPGA tour player. Getting cards from these current players that match the stylings of the 2001 SP Authentic Tiger Woods or the 2002 SP Authentic Phil Mickelson rookie autographs, that is important. Although
Well,
it might not be shiny and the latest and greatest, it is important for the continuance.
Well, I think that's a great segue to talk about one note that I just found. So I just, as you were talking about that, because I thought it was interesting that they did include artifacts, exquisite, and like sign of the times, which is, an SB Authentic product technically. So that made me think, I'm like, huh, if they've teased sign of the times, maybe they will have some of that other stuff. And if you do look right now on Dave and Adam Card World, they did update the description to include all of the sub inserts. And right here, SP Authentic 2001 Retro Rookie Auto numbered to 25. So they are going to do some of that brand stuff. They're going to do Immortal Ink. They're going to do cinematography. They're going to do rookie signatures and then sign of the times. And then the Spectrum FX, which I was a big fan of in 2021 when we did the Bounty. I own all four of the Spectrum FX sets. So
Hmm,
luckily there's a lot of inserts of Exquisite and SP Authentic more than just Sign of the Times. So that
interesting.
retro design still will live for another year.
So it's good that the retro throwback designs or the whatever the standard rookie autographs are called, that property will continue. That's great. I don't know if the fact that it's coming from a mishmash set is going to, it won't devalue the card itself in the future, so that's great. But I do think there's an asterisk or a bit of a black mark, the fact that it's not coming from a dedicated SP Authentic set. The one that comes to mind is in hockey. Prism hockey is collectible. It's sought after now. The gold prisms are just as sought after as they are in other sports. There was only 2 years of Prism hockey, and it was not a dedicated set. You couldn't buy a Prism hockey NHL pack. It
Hmm.
came from, I forget the name of the set. I wish I could remember, but it was a mishmash, like Panini Chronicles or similar to, Upper Deck Goodwin Champions where you could pull these NHL cards from all different mishmash products. One of them happened to be Prism, along with different parallels.
Hmm.
Looking back, I wish they had created a dedicated Prism hockey set in the same way that I wish they would make an SP Authentic set. Just to finish off, speaking of Prism, we should be getting some Prism golf cards pretty soon. I think it's just around the corner, but we're not getting any announcements. We haven't seen any checklists. Do you know anything about it?
Not at all, sadly. I was hoping you would know. So that's something we want to look out for. I know they were saying Q4. My gut, I thought it was going to be September, but the fact that that's already like less than a month away, and we haven't heard anything, maybe it'll be more November. But I have a feeling they're going to try to time it as much they can around the holidays and stuff. So we'll see. Hopefully sooner than later. But no, I have not heard. I'm just speculating that it will be sometime in September.
Do you know when the
Um,
Live playoffs is?
no, no, I don't.
Whenever the Live playoffs is, maybe they'll try and do it in line with that. Or if I was them, I would try to because in an interview with the vice president of at Panini that looked after, I think, player retention or something like that. On an interview on the Sports Card Strategy Show with Paul Hickey, he talked about opening packs and kind of building the golf card hobby up to just golf fans, which would help grow the hobby. I'm a big fan of that. But in terms of scheduling and timing, they would need to do that at a live event. Like they're not just going to travel to
Yeah.
some live golfer's house. So I would think they want to do that when the product's new and hot. And if the live playoffs are coming up soon, you would hope maybe the product will be released soon. And if
Yeah,
there's
I think
delays,
you're right. I think that's what made me initially think of that because the team championships are at the end of September.
so then I really
The
hope the
20th.
product
Yeah.
releases by then. And if it doesn't, I hope they don't hold on to it until the start of the 2025
No,
league.
I hope not either. I hope that they release it then and then yeah, people like that go to the event could even like yeah, buy them like at a tent and rip packs there. That would be so cool. Get them signed. That would be awesome. So fingers crossed, end of September. If not, we might have to wait a little bit.
Right on,
We'll
man.
see.
All right, everybody, hold your breath. Both Upper Deck and Panini products coming out soon. Well, that was a short and sweet episode with James Peacock. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Next week, we're going to have John Morton back on the show to talk about the most important set in golf. And of course, that's up for debate, but hopefully that's caught your interest to tune in. Check out Instagram at The Golf Card Collector. Our Facebook group is The Golf Cards and Memorabilia. And I'll see you guys next week.
Ridiculous golf card collector.